Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Welcome back to my channel. Every now and then I have a moment for reflection and thought. During those moments I think, you know what's an awesome dinosaur? Tyrannosaurus freaking Rex. And as luck would have it, we have a Tyrannosaurus freaking Rex to paint. I decided to keep the excitement all to myself and pre-base coated it this time, so now we're just going to start with some yellow airbrushing. Today we're doing the Doe T-Rex from the Lost World, and while her colors are very similar to Rexy, she's got more yellow and orange, as well as more clearly defined stripes. But one thing at a time. Let's start with that yellow. You may or may not have noticed, but the yellow we're putting on her does not make her look like a banana. And that's because I've cut it with some warm buff, so it's not quite as bright. Now that all that yellow is on there, we can get started on the patterns, starting with the eyeliner. After her eyes are pretty, we'll throw on some snoot stripes. In addition to the stripes coming down from the top of the snout, there are also some stripes that originate at the lip line and go up towards those stripes, and they more or less match up with each other. In addition to the stripes, we're also going to pick out a lot of individual scales with a toothpick, which means a lot of dots. After those dots, we're going to drag some stripes down from that jawline. These clearly defined jaw stripes are another one of those features that make the doe stand out from the other T-Rexes in Jurassic Park. And now we're going to mark out where we're going to put those stripes that run along her back, which predictably will be followed by painting the stripes themselves. I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but we're using black for all of her markings right now. There are going to be a few layers over these, mostly in browns and grays, so they won't look quite as dark when she's finally finished. And per our usual practice, we paint both sides of the dinosaur. You may have noticed in the background that I printed out a couple of pages from the Dinosaur Style Guide from Paleo Publication. If you plan on painting any Jurassic Park style dinosaurs, I really can't recommend it enough, especially if you paint Jurassic Park dinosaurs for a living. Anyways, now that we've got the broad strokes of the markings for this dinosaur down, we're just going in and filling in some little details here and there, which takes the place of a lot of little dots. So thank God toothpicks are cheap, because I use a lot of them. Fun fact about the Doe T-Rex, the top of her head is not devoid of markings, so we're going to fill some of those in now. I'm giving her black eyebrows right now, but don't worry, they're not going to stay that way. We'll do some dry brushing over there later. Now we're going to go in and do some speckles and spots all over the body. Some of them are random, but some of them are actually going to be forming patterns. And when she's all done, it's going to give us a very nice marbling effect. At least that's the plan. It worked for the buck, so hopefully it works for her too. Looks like I'm doing something with the feet now. If my camera placement was better, I'd know what it was. Aha! Foot scoots! And much like the rest of her patterns, we're doing those in black. Not that they'll stay that way. While we're messing around with her feet, we're going to go ahead and do some foot freckles too. Because if we're doing freckles and speckles all over the rest of the dinosaur, why not the feet too? So many speckles, so much toothpick. Yeah, I forgot to record a little bit of wash on the back. Whoopsie. We're just going to go ahead and do an orangey airbrush on her now. I say orangey because it's not straight orange. Much in the same way that we did not want this T-Rex looking like a banana, we don't want her looking like an orange either. In fact, it's best if she looks more like a dinosaur than any piece of fruit for that matter. So the orange has been cut with nutmeg brown to tone it down a little bit and make it look more natural. The placement of the orange color for the most part is going to be just above where the yellow is, and that orange will eventually fade into brown. So we have kind of a fade of yellow, orange, brown. Think of this as a autumn T-Rex. I have the airbrush loaded with some brown now, so I'm going to spray that over the top of some of the orange, and we'll get that yellow, orange, brown fade that I was talking about earlier. We've got to be careful with the brown here. If we do too much and we cover up all of that orange and yellow and fade in those stripes too much, then we will have just made a Jurassic Park 1 Rex and not the Doe. So fingers crossed I don't screw that up. Now we'll take some of that dark brown and we'll go over the patterns made by those dots earlier, and that'll give us that marbling effect that I was talking about, if we're lucky. We're also spraying over those black foot scoots, just like I said we would. But not just the foot scoots. Why stop there? We're going to go over all of the patterns we did, and that will make them all not black, as well as tying them into the rest of the colors on the Rex. Now we're going to darken up that brown even more, and then we're going to go over those stripes again. And I really hope I don't blend them in too much, because we want a Lost World Doe, not Rexy. Not that there is anything wrong with Rexy, that's just not what we're going for with this particular Rex. Alright, now we're going to try to tie it all in with an overspray of lighter brown. Lighter brown as opposed to darker brown because, again, we're going for the Doe. I do believe this Tyrannosaurus Rex is starting to look doughy. Some of her eyeliner got covered up with all of that brown spray, so we're just going to reapply that real quick. And just like that, she's pretty again. And because we are being thorough, we are going to go ahead and paint some boogers inside of her nostrils. And now we'll do some dry brushing so we can bring out some of the bigger scales on her face. and toothpicking for the little ones. And now we'll dry brush those foot scoots. And without the teeth, a T-Rex is hardly a T-Rex at all. So we're going to go ahead and paint those murder bananas. Dental work is done. Time for the mani-pedi. And of course we can't forget those big beautiful eyes. And because we want her to have bright eyes, we'll just paint them straight up banana color. And a nice black dot for the pupil. Alright, I think she's done. Did I succeed in making the dough, or did I screw up and do Rexy? Let me know in the comments. Well folks, that's the end of the video. Thanks for sticking around. If you enjoy my content, be sure to like and subscribe. If you'd like a chance to own whatever I made or painted in this video, be sure to check out my eBay and Etsy shops. And to see other projects that I've made, be sure to follow me on Instagram. I appreciate your support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.